Hello there and welcome back to Minecraft. As you can see forest bunny, I'm not idea how that thing got here, but anyways. I have slaughtered my house. I've taken everything out. As you know, there's been a problem with my headset slash microphone. I broke it, or basically the clamps on the headset were originally too strong, and over time basically the earbud ended up being broken. Secondly, as you can see here, I have completed the mining procedure. This thing has mined down to bedrock and taken up all the resources, which is of course useful. But basically what I have been doing while waiting for my new microphone to arrive is mess around, mostly in Minecraft here. Basically I've set up myself a smeltery here. I built myself a small base, as you can see. And basically the centerpiece here is going to most likely end up being a reactor that will be powering everything. And as you can see here, I do have 3 runners. These things basically negate all fall damage with electricity, and a jetpack which allows me to fly with the help of hydrogen, which is what we get from stuff downstairs. Hang glider, release made just ladder and sticks. As you can see, helps a lot with flying around. Atomic disassembler, I think I made that before. Basically I made myself an electric pump and a couple of other things. The weapons are all made thanks to the smeltery, but we'll go through that later. First and foremost, as I said, we're going to go through what I've been doing basically here. These are elevators. They're built with 8 wool and 1 ender pearl. This is basically where I'm going to have the power set up. But as you can see, I moved my stuff into the basement here. This is basically going to be the hydrogen electro basically room where I get that done. Now these lamps are inverted white lamps, and they're made basically they're really easy to make in theory, but the only problem is the things to actually get them is a little bit expensive, because it requires Ilmar dust, which is basically glowstone with any kind of dye will create Ilmar, and you need 2 Ilmar, a torch, and glass panes in order to create that. But other than that, it's not really dangerous. The factories here are basically a good upgrade, I dare say. They're not too expensive. As you can see, the first upgrade is just to gold, 2 enriched alloy, and the control circuits here, which is to redstone and enriched alloy. So they're not too expensive. The next one is basically the same, but diamond dust instead. And the last one is again the same, but you need an atomic core. Basically, it's just these 3 that are expensive per se, but as you can see, I have 5 slots in this one. You don't really need more in the purifier, because as you know, each ore you put into here comes out as 3, and basically here, in theory, if you wanted it to run without any delay, you would require a 15, basically this one. I've also added upgrades, which makes them a little bit faster. This is what we dredged up from the quarry. Ton of manganese here, turned into manganese dust, a little bit of zinc, osmium. Basically, on each of these blocks of stacks, one block is 9 iron, for instance. So basically, here, if you take these times 9, that will be the amount of ingots. So we did get quite a bit of resources. For some weird reason, we didn't get any redstone, which is a slight issue. The rest of the stuff that we got is basically here some cobble, gravel, sand, sulfur, essence, and of course we got some abyssal stone and some coral. This can actually be turned into dye, so it's good to have around. Other stuff, flint, building materials, rubies, Tomcraft stuff. I also did get the secondary, or get complete the Conquest of Dungeon. This is the stuff that we dredged up from there. I basically just upgraded the chats so they can hold more, but this is what we got from all 4 of the towers. I have used some of the stuff, but not much. I have everything here if I should require to start actually planting. We have a planter, we have a harvester. I could in theory start a small farm, but basically this is just the catch-up episode of what I've done in between. But yeah, as you can see, I basically built myself 4 rooms. 3 of them are in use. This is basically going to be the main crafting area. We moved my Thinker's Construct to over here. I have my important stuff, basically Ilmar, the white lamps, and the chest, and the pearls, cables, all that kind of stuff. The processed ores are here. These are not anything that I've actually taken from from the quarry. I left that more or less untouched. I still have some unprocessed stored here that I can actually use to show you just how quick the thing is. It's basically random stuff, building bricks, stuff like that. And of course we have food and potions. A lot of this stuff is actually dredged up from the Triton, so I should probably mention that. Now this is a room that is probably going to take a little bit longer to explain. As you can see, there's a tons of books here, and I basically have a plate for each of them. Mistcraft is what I've been messing around with. And Mistcraft is basically a really interesting thing to do. Basically, by using pages, you can put together your own dimension by, well, using paper, leather, and ink. And those dimensions can be real bountiful, like this one. Basically, it doesn't have bedrock, or it probably has bedrock, but it has a 4 deep layer sea of osmium that I can use a pump, floating osmium, that I can then pump into a smeltery and turn into ingots or whatever. Tartarite, really useful. Tartarite is the second strongest, second most damaging material for weaponry. And as you can see, I basically created myself a longsword here, which is created by a tartarite blade. I have a paper binding, or paper crossguard, whatever you want to call it, for modifier. And I have a atomic rod as a handle, again for modifiers. And as you can see, I've added quartz and lapis to it. And the reason why I've added quartz is simply because it gives it more damage. Lapis gives it looting 3, which basically increases drops. Now I have a ton of nether quartz. And here's the funny part, I have nether stuff, but I haven't actually visited the nether. And the reason is simple. You can actually create a overworld nether. I actually had a really funny one here. No idea where I actually popped it down, but I had a winter nether. Basically the nether is... There we go. I had a winter nether here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be visiting any of these. Well, I could. I do actually have the linking books. And basic gold obelisk, wood tendrils, meteorite. I have no idea what that actually used for. But you can imagine, this is basically a gold mine, and it's a real simple to start gold mine, but it's dangerous because of the simple fact that pages takes a long time to find. The ages that you put together can end up not being stable at all. These are basically dangerous ages that I do not want to visit again, because 1, they either almost kill me, 2, they made the game really unstable. I had a couple of close calls with basically the game being well, close to crashing per se, and I did not like that. Now these fluid tanks that are made here from agriculture are basically made with 4 copper, 4 wood, and a regular glass in center. You get 2 tanks from that. It's basically what I've been using to empty the pump after using, because you need actually to empty its contents if you want to start again. This is basically going to be a storage room of some description. As you can see, what I've actually dredged from this stuff is all gotten from the Mistcraft ages, and what I've basically gotten is oil, jelly cryotheum. This is actually really important. The jelly cryotheum is one of the coldest materials in the game. So it's really good for cooling off a reactor, which we're going to be building in future. Really important. Mutant DNA, no idea what to use stuff for. It seems important though, so we kept that. Mutite, no idea what this is actually useful for, but I'll probably find something. And for sculling, again, no idea. Quicksilver, no idea. Zinc, probably useless. Liquid poison, no idea. Molten astral silver, no idea. Blazing pyrotheum, I believe this is actually the opposite of jelly cryotheum. So basically, I think this is one of the warmest materials. It basically put the forest where I found it on fire, so that was a little bit bad. And of course, a lava drum. So all in all, I haven't actually done too much. I've basically just been building this, which is, well, to be fair, not the most difficult thing to do. And as you can see, I basically set myself up a smeltery. Smeltery is made by seared bricks, and basically you need some smeltery drains, some faucets, controller, tank. These things run on lava, so it's pretty damn useful that way. I've actually set up some potential automation in the future, but that's fine. I basically just went for these things because I was busy. The redstone clock is really easy to make. It's just 5 stone and 4 stone, 4 redstone, and a redstone torch. And it basically gives a redstone signal once per second, which means that these things would basically pull 1 ingot, then turn off, pull 1 ingot, turn off, etc. But basically, this is what I've gotten from the other worlds. I have blocks of tartarite. I could probably build a house of osmium just to Just to give a little bit of a hint. I haven't actually built the entrance yet due to the fact that I'm basically just jumping around as of this moment. I'm a little bit unsure what we'll do next, but I'm thinking that it's time to do some exploring, or potentially do some more building. It's basically up to you guys. I'm unfortunately without internet here, so... But I said I would show just how effective this is. As you can see. Real fast here. Boom. We're back over there, and boom, we now have 12 copper ingots. Pretty damn rapid. But yeah, this is basically the smeltery. I'll probably do some... I'll make a guide on that so you know how it works. I have a pattern chest here for these things. Now the casts are really estimated. You just need a casting table. You need to make aluminum brass, which I believe is aluminum and or bauxite and copper or tin. It's one of them. And then you basically use a regular stencil table and make a stone version of whatever it is that you want to make. Basically, you go into your part builder, you create a stone large plate, for instance, and then you lay it down on the casting table, and then you pour aluminium brass over, and then you get your cast. But basically, the basalt is basically the last thing that I think I need to explain. The basalt is really easy to get. You just need to find one of these things over here. This was a volcano, a pretty damn high volcano. It started from up there, as you can see. And basically, once the quarry is done, I put the quarry there. I use that. I used a pump here to drain the lava out of it. And basically, you get if you mine basalt, you get cobblestone. You melt that again, then you get or you basically make it into basalt again. And 4 of them make 4 basalt bricks. So it's a really easy material to get your hands on, and it looks fairly alright. It looks kind of like seared bricks, but with a little bit of a lighter tint in it. Again, portal gun, really important, real fun. That was a skeleton. Well, not that fun as I would think then. But anyways, there is one. The last thing we'll probably do is visit some of the places I've created. This is one of them, a completely flat world. It basically means that it's flat, no mountains, nothing, anything. And basically, what I like these flat worlds for, they are ideal to set up, as you can see here, quarries. But this quarry have a tiny issue. Great unbreaking brick. There's a Darkcraft dungeon or whatever here, and unfortunately I was hoping the quarry would be able to mine this, but it can't, which is not the best at all. So I'll have to deal with that sometime later. But yeah, you can imagine just how good it is. Basically, the reason why I wanted to put my quarries in Mistcraft Ages is, well, it doesn't make big holes in my landscape, and, well, you basically have the same stuff that you would otherwise, probably a little bit of extra stuff as well. But I do have two link books here, so we can visit some of the weirder worlds here. For instance, the Wind and Nether. Link books are basically the way to get home. But as you can see, this is actually a nether with creatures. You have snow and some weird red stuff that always puts me on fire and that I can't actually drain up. I have a feeling that is molten iron that is bugged out, and thus I can't actually pump it up, which is really disappointing. But as you can see here, I actually needed to create water in order to put myself out, which is not the best per se. We also have a really funny thing here. These are actually coal pillars, and I managed to make these of gold in another world, gold ore. So you can imagine just a little poach like that, and boom, I got a little bit over a stack of coal, which is a really simple way to get resources. The places where you find the pages are actually these things right here. This is basically a temple. As you can see, these are basically pages that I have from before, are useless. Will not be bothering picking them up. But yeah, this is basically one of the many weird realms that you can make. I believe this is actually more liquid poison, so we're not going to bother in that. But you can basically create any kind of world that you want, and it's really fun to explore these places. We have some more lava here that we don't want to bump into. Now, I had one more that I could explore, thanks to having linking books back home. And the worlds that the only world I actually have a standard linking book is in this one, which is a little bad, to be perfectly honest. So, what else can we make? Cryothium? No, Netherworld, glowstone. This one I believe actually looks pretty damn neat. As you can see, this is a gloomy, scary place, to be perfectly honest, much thanks to the dense vegetation, the trees. It has tons, for some weird reason, tons of Endermen just walking around, and as such I feel like I'm playing Slender while doing this, because suddenly an Enderman standing there looking at you, another one there. It's kind of a spooky place, but it's also really a beneficial place thanks to, I'll see if I can find one. As I say, you do require quite a bit of glowstone for the lamps that I'll be making around my house, and basically there should be one over there. Again, I'm kind of using the map here to my advantage. As you can see, these things are basically what I have been using to get my glowstone, because if you beat these things down, unfortunately the vein mode doesn't actually work on these things, but basically by pouncing them down to the ground I get a ton of glowstone. Just like that, no problem at all. There we go, 3.5 stack in each of these, which makes them a really useful way to get glowstone. So basically, to some degree, you could say that I am half cheating by using Mistcraft, but it's an easy way to gain resources. I'll probably still get the resources legitimately. It would just take a little bit of time. We can, of course, go to Nether and fetch whatever we need there. We'll probably go to Nether next episode. There's some stuff there that I would like to get my hands on. We might go for creating a reactor, basically flesh out, if you will, my factory room. And there we go, we're back home. But basically, as I was saying, we might go for fleshing out the factory room here. Only these things are a little bit too little. These both ferrous and yellowite, along with winthium, requires a little bit of an interesting way to get the most out of them. As you can see, if by using a sag mill, we'll get 2 yellorium dusts, which can be turned into ingots, and we have a 5% chance to get cyanide. So basically, that's the way to get the most out of yellorite. When it comes to ferrous, we can either force grind it to get some platinum powder and nickel powder, or we could just go for enrichment chamber to get double. Not that interesting. It was more interesting using a pulverizer than getting the pulverized shiny metal. As I said, I might look into. You could also use a sag mill for that, so we'd probably set up a sag mill system. The Ventium is basically Ars Magica, but it's kind of useful to just run it through a pulverizer to get double up. Again, kind of want to make the most out of my resources here. And again, this is probably a storage area for the time being. I'm a little bit unsure, but I think once we actually get into applied logistics and an ME system, this is most likely going to be the ME room. Now lastly, the way that I'm planning to build up this thing is basically to have this corridor in the center, build up, and then placing rooms basically wherever I feel like, making it look a little bit wonky, a little bit weird. Could be fun. And I'm basically going to be using different materials for each room, each roof, etc. to just make it look a little bit more interesting. The reason why I decided to actually add a little bit more to this one was because I needed a place to store the shit I had dredged up from Mistcraft Realms. I'm a little bit unsure if I won't be messing around too much more with the Mistcraft. I would really prefer to get a redstone setup or something like that. I should probably visit this place. Basically, before I visited this place, I was level 60 or so, and lapis spears, dark lapis, give a extreme amount of experience. It's scary. It's honestly scary. I couldn't see anything. It was just green orbs on my screen for a minute. I basically just left the computer be. I couldn't actually see any monsters there, so I thought it was safe. Well, it actually was safe, but basically I couldn't see shit because I was getting so much XP and it was taking so long to eat it all up. But on the positive side, I should probably get myself a enchantment room probably here set up sooner or later. Anyways, that was basic catch up and plan forward. I'm a little bit unsure, but the plan is to become immortal, so I think we'll just go exploring. We'll see if we can. I think I forgot to explain these things, the red heart canisters. It's a Thinker's Construct thing that gives you an extra heart, and as you can see, it's kind of hard to make on your own. You need 4 diamonds to make a jeweled apple, you need necrotic bone, etc. So basically it's better to just find them in the dungeons. So I think the plan further now will be to explore the world, see if I can find some more dungeons. Of course I'll have to make some more armor for that, but that's fine. With the new weapons here I should be perfectly safe. Longsword will be my main weapon. This one will be a backup per se. The rapier does a little bit less damage than the longsword, but it basically ignores any armor. The cleaver here is going to be useful in the future if I need to get head, because basically you have a 20% chance of beheading anything you cut with that thing. So that is useful. But yeah, we are in a very good position. I'm sorry that I didn't record the building process, etc., but I needed something to do while waiting for the microphone to arrive. I'll see you around next time. Feel free to comment in the comments, for criticism, anything you feel like, and I'll see you then. Bye.